It's my life. Lazy, 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 lazy. It's my life. I got dirty, 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 dirty. It's my life. I wanna be shopping, 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 shopping. It's my life. I need money, 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 money. Yeah.
Unfortunately, MJ was not able to attend, but we still love you, MJ, and we know who you're voting for mayor. Let's get started. All right, so welcome, Miss Constance, and thank you so much for joining me to talk about politics and protesting. Now, I know this is a lot in Shreveport going on with the politics and the protesters. It's difficult for everyone to have an understanding. So let's talk about that. Like, why do you think that is?
Why do I think it's difficult for people to understand what's going on in politics?
Yes.
Well, I think that in Shreveport, which is probably typical of a lot of small communities, I think a lot of times people get stuck on voting for people that they are comfortable with. And I believe that when it comes to positions, that it needs to be looked upon as if, like when you're interviewing for a job. So it should not be who you like the most,
Right.
and who you've gone to high school with, or who you're connected with a sorority and a fraternity. It should be who the best person is for the job.
Yes. Yes.
And I believe that in Shreveport, we have a lot of people that are voted in positions based upon name recognition. Just because your mother was a politician and she was able to manage city council and commissioner, and that she was a very aggressive, well-spoken, and well-respected woman, doesn't mean that you should automatically take her seat and continue to take her seat. Or just because your parents were educators, it doesn't mean that you automatically are a good politician.
Yeah.
And so I actually said, whenever Willie Bradford vacated his seat, and I listened to the questions that they asked for the candidates, and there was only two that was actually qualified. And it wasn't the one who ended up with the seat.
Wow.
So, Shreveport, number one, needs to pay very, very close attention to who they're going to be placing as a mayor.
Yes.
And let me explain to you why. Let me digress a little bit. So you do know that I was in North Carolina this past week.
Yes.
And on Monday, I had the wonderful opportunity of sitting and watching Bill Crump's documentary. And after his documentary, the audience had an opportunity to ask him 3 questions. And one of the questions that was asked was related to police brutality.
Yeah.
And what Ben Crump said was, the first thing we have to do is be very concerned with who we appoint as mayor. And the reason why is because the mayor is the one that appoints the chief.
Yes.
Okay? Yes. So this mayor or mayoral election is very, very important.
Very.
Because that's the person that's going to determine or who's going to have more insight over the city council meeting and the police department.
Yes.
So that's not to be taken lightly at all.
Right.
Do I think they need to bring the current person in? Should they allow him to remain as mayor? No, they should not. He was inept. He came in doing things that was inappropriate. Chavez, is he a good candidate? No. And I'm going to tell you why. Chavez had a problem with the statue being removed.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So we're sitting here with a city and the population is over 50% African Americans. Okay, we need to have someone that's going to have the African American community's interests at heart in Shreveport.
So who do you think that would be? Who do you think is a good candidate for mayor?
Well, I actually think Lavette Fuller is very knowledgeable. However, some people think Lavette Fuller is in there just to divide the votes. I hope not. And I know that a lot of people had an issue with Lavette Fuller because they thought that her interests lied more with the white community and not the African American community.
Well, Lavette Fuller, she was doing some things for sure for the black community as well. She was doing meetings, giving out information and resources that she knew about. She was working with Brica Peoples, doing a lot of things with them, with, you know, her cause. Like, Lavette was really, and she went to a black school, you know. So, I mean, she has, what is good about Lavette Fuller is she has both. She can get both votes, you know. So, I mean, she did things for the other community. She did things for our community, you know. And I think in politics, you have to, like, balance it out, you know.
I agree. I agree. Who else is running? What, they have about 6 people that are running?
Yeah, I think it was Arsenio. I think his first name is Tom Arsenault.
Yes. So I'm not really familiar with him. I have read some of his comments on Facebook, but what has he done for the African American community?
I've never even seen the guy before, so I don't know. I've maybe seen his name maybe twice, you know, around town, as far as like him promoting himself. I've never seen him in person. I've never seen him out in like a community event doing anything like that. I have seen Mario out, you know, walking around. He has some great like marketing skills. Like, he had a group of people at the Good Time Road Festival with the shirts on. I mean, every street I turn on, I see that black and white sign. I'm like, I don't know, you know, that's a mental picture for a lot of people who don't look at what they're doing and they're just like, who should I vote for? Hey, that's marketing right there. So I'll give that to him for sure. Yeah. So another thing we're looking at is the guy with Representative District 4. I forget his name, but he ran unopposed. What is his name? He ran unopposed for State Representative District 4.
And he's running for mayor as well?
No. He's just someone that was... I believe some people are suggested, because when I ran for cattle commissioner for District 6, I wasn't in the right district, and I really didn't want to do it. But my mentor called and she was like, you can do this. I mean, you can, if they can do it, you can do it. Like, you got this. And I have no background in politics at all whatsoever. I just registered to vote maybe 5 years ago, and I'm still learning. So I don't have background in politics, but I have background in people. I have background in serving. I have background in helping, you know. So that's, I believe, what she was getting at for me to run. So maybe something like that happened with him, because, you know, I've always known him as the guy that does my financial aid. and he's a doctor, and all the ladies love him. That's what I know. I didn't know anything else other than,
all the ladies love him.
man, there is Southern like, oh my gosh, Mr. Jackson this, Mr. I see why he went to another job. Because, yeah, I think he's at Grambling now. But yeah, so that's all I knew about him. I never knew he was in politics. I thought he was in finance and real estate. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see who actually gets the seats. Because some of these seats also like became vacant. And so, you know, a lot of people were not really permanent. They just got the seat temporarily. So now with this, you're actually being voted in. So let's see what your votes are looking like. Like I said, this is entrepreneurship. I haven't really seen a lot of people put themselves. Oh, I want to research some more. I'm not saying who I'm gonna vote for or not.
Why did you speak to him when we were at the Let the Good Times Roll Festival?
Because I really didn't see a moment in time where I can just really talk to him, because he was moving around. And then when y'all was talking, I was kind of like,
all you gotta do is come over there, little sis.
look, I came over there, but I was kind of like the fly on the wall, because I was like, I don't know if I should interrupt, but I was trying to listen for sure. I was definitely trying to listen, and I can't even hear that well. So shame on me, because I can't even hear that well. But I was like, what? Yeah, so I saw y'all talking, and I know you got on them a little bit, like, what, you know, what's going on with this? And he was engaging, for sure. He was engaging.
But he's not trying to get on my platform, because I told him. I said, what we want to know is, well, number one, when politicians go to churches and other small gatherings, they always have a 5 or 10 minute spiel.
Yeah.
We don't want you to read off of your 5 or 10 minute spiel. We have certain questions that we want to ask you.
Yes. Yes.
And we want to know that. We want to know your response. We want to know your viewpoints on police brutality. We want to know what you can do as the mayor, or what your plans are as the mayor to make changes in your police force.
Right.
Like, do you believe it's a matter of training? Do you believe it's a matter of, having the hiring process? Do you think the hiring process needs to be revamped?
Mm.
Do you think that you need to, say, for instance, have cameras, more cameras at the disposal? Like, what are your views? So we don't get a chance to, we need to ask him those relevant things.
Yes.
Yeah. So let me just share one thing, because it looks like we have less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Can I share something? Do you mind?
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Okay, let me go back again to Monday.
Mm-hmm.
When I had an opportunity to listen to Ben Crump. And Ben Crump and another lady in the audience, let me tell you what they said. And I think this is so very important. That when it comes to police brutality, we cannot only march whenever it's someone like Trayvon Martin, the guy in Minnesota. I'm sorry, I can't remember all of the names.
It's okay, I forget names too.
That we need to do it every single time.
Yes.
And
I agree.
That he said we need to hit their pockets. If we continue to sue the hell out of these cities and the police department every time this happens, the only way that we're going to get their recognition and their attention is to hit their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of people don't understand, which I talk about in the Circle of Truth. They're always talking about Ben Crump not winning any cases. Ben Crump is a civil rights attorney.
Right.
He's not a defense attorney.
Right.
And that's totally different, okay? Ben Crump's job or his role is to make sure that that family has some sort, I don't know if this is the right word, of peace in their life. He cannot bring that person back. But what he can do is make sure that going forward, that the person who passed, that their children are okay.
Yes.
Or to make sure that the parents are in a financial position to move forward.
Right.
That's his role as a civil rights attorney.
Right.
Okay? He cannot try cases.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So number one, it's important to make sure that every single time an African American person is killed unjustly, that we need to march.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly.
Number two, I'm always talking about the importance of higher education. And for whatever reason in the African American community, we are quick to sit here and say, college is not for everyone. Well, let me tell you something. The only way that we're going to change these laws is that we have to have the right attorneys. We're talking about the right district attorneys and the right judges.
Yes.
And we have the right politicians and lobbyists to make changes in these laws. So we need more African Americans that are going to go to college,
Mm-hmm.
and who are going to major in political science,
Yes.
and who's going to understand to become a lobbyist and change these laws. And we can sit here and we can place people in jail all we want. But if the sentences are unfair because of crooked judges, there's not going to be any change.
Nope.
And then another thing that he said is that we have to sit on the jury. Because if we have attorneys that's defending someone, but the jury doesn't look like you're not going to win.
Right. Exactly.
Okay? So if we have a city, it's supposed to be a jury, a panel of your peers.
Right.
So that means if I commit a crime and I go to court in Shreveport, that means 7 out of the 12 jurors need to be African Americans.
Yes.
Because let me tell you something. I don't care how cool a white person is or how cool a Hispanic is. They will never, ever understand what it means to be black in America.
Yes.
That was my takeaway from Monday.
That was good. That was good. And he spoke volumes when he said that. And I thank him for spreading the knowledge. And look, it got back to Shreveport and we didn't even have to come to, So that is awesome. That is great. And I think he said something very important. Every single time something happens in our community, we need to stand up for it. Because when we do picks and chooses and we say, hey, this person, in other people's eyes, it's like this person was more important than this person. When we need to show that we're one whole and everyone is just as important in our community. So that was great information. And I thank you again, Miss Constance. You know we're going to be on the regular phone soon. But I thank you for coming on and telling me your spiel on policy and protest and giving people some information about Ben Crump, about police brutality, about the importance of voting for the mayor, the things that the mayors do, the importance of voting, period. Like, you just gave us everything. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jasmine, for inviting me. Like, I'm the one that's always doing the interviewing, so it's nice. It's nice that all I had to worry about was looking pretty.
Looking cute, that's it. You nailed it. You nailed it.
You see my messy ball?
Yes, you did it.
Let me tell you something. So I normally have my hair covering my face.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh my God, everybody can see what my face looks like.
Oh, child. And they looking. Shoot. And they looking.
I wish when you edit this, I wish you could put a picture of me with Jesse Jackson and then.
Okay, I will.
Did you see that photo?
Yes, you sent it to me. So I already have
like
it.
Someone else said, like, this other guy, he called me. He's originally from Shreveport. He said, do you know how powerful it is to stand next to an icon like
Yes.
Jesse Jackson?
Yes. I'm gonna put your picture up there and Circle of Truth.
Okay.
I got you, and I'm gonna send it to you so you can see how everything looks. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Have a good
Have a
one.
good evening.
Okay. Bye bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
It's my life. Lazy, 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 lazy. It's my life. I got dirty, 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 dirty. It's my life. I wanna shop, 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 shopping. It's my life.
The importance of voting, period. Like, you just gave us everything. So thank you so much.
And thank you so much, Jasmine, for inviting me. Like, I'm the one that's always doing the interviewing, so it's nice. It's nice that all I had to worry about was looking pretty.
Looking cute. That's it. You nailed it. You nailed it. They looking. Shoot. And they looking. And they looking.
I wish when you edit this, I wish you could put a picture of me with Jesse Jackson and then.
Okay, I will.
Did you see that photo?
Yes, you sent it to me. So I already have it.
Someone else said, like, this other guy, he called me. He's originally from Shreveport. He said, you know how powerful it is to stand next to an icon.
Yes.
Like Jesse Jackson.
Yes. I'm going to put your picture up there and Circle of Truth.
Okay.
I got you. And I'm going to send it to you so you can see how everything looks, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Have a good evening.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.